Well, we've been a digital printer now for about 13 years. We were a pre-press company, and we added digital presses before we had offset. So we grew, we were very good with how to handle files and things like that, and then we went into the digital printing before we had offset capability. So it's a little different mix than a lot of printers are doing today. Our digital press room runs 24/7 here, and knowing that the service was going to come from OSE and the fact that they're supporting mission critical pieces all around the country, and I also saw the number of service reps and the parts and all those pieces were located so that the access and I could count on the service being there when I needed it. Relying from a manufacturer standpoint, I felt comfortable that I was going to get the service when I needed it. We host about 20 web-to-print sites, and I'm pretty proud. 8 of them are Fortune 500 companies, but that doesn't always mean large orders. So we've brought in lean manufacturing into our shop to be a big part. One of the things that I've always wondered is that how can you bring some of these processes into something that's custom all the time? And one of the first things that we recognized is that we had departments, and we changed it to value streams, and we broke off into a digital value stream, offset, and AMT, which is our web to print. And in those cells, you'll find an estimator, customer service, production, and all the way through, and each has their own workflow. Everybody in the company can bring these suggestions and make things better, and it's for us, it's our business practice right now. So the imagePRESS, when we brought that into the lean practice, is that we have a very nice workflow. Files are delivered to the Canon imagePRESS. They're all imposed. We get the right media in there, and we can actually even group those files to like types of jobs. So for example, brochures that are all going through that are stitched on a certain kind of stock, or maybe even mix and cover stocks in on them. We can group those jobs together, run them at one time. The first sheet off is the job ticket, so we know what that is. Finished pieces will come off all stitched, ready to go. Carry them over to shipping, scan the piece. It'll create the invoice through our MIS system, a shipping ticket, send out notification that the job's done. And so all that work that we used to take off of our other presses and have to go through maybe 2 or 3 bindery machines is a finished piece off the end of the press. So we've eliminated 3 steps in the lean process. We have some other presses that run faster, but it's the overall throughput as to when a job gets through, and the OSE performs very well on that. We have standards set for the machines, and the imagePRESS comes up very consistent within those standards all the time. So we're not having to go back and readjust all the time. And when we installed the machine, we came up with a couple of those specs, and we know where we're running certain jobs on the right papers. And one of the features of the imagePRESS is that it also identifies that color space for the specific papers. So once we get it set, we're able to come back and consistently run the jobs. We run a lot of shells, and one of our big markets is the education. So we take pieces, and one side is static. Cost-wise, it's very effective that way. We can get some higher volumes off of our offset presses. We have those shells. In one case, one customer has 17 brands. So we're pulling the shells, and it's an on-demand every night. We pull the shells for the appropriate pieces, put the variable full color on the other side, and it allows us to get off timely information. And we're able to do that every night with the Canon. At RT, we do not have any strictly black and white machines, but the Canon fills a real nice niche there in that it allows us to still compete in some of that marketplace where a lot of our pieces are still one-sided black, and not having to buy a second piece of equipment to still fill that hole for us works out pretty well. So far this month, we're about the 2/3 of the way through the month. We've already run 10 million impressions through our digital area. We relied heavily on the OSE to carry a big load of that. So where a couple of the large jobs were running on some other presses, we're getting all of our daily work off the stuff that had to go out for our regular customers, and we counted on the OSE every day to get that work out.